साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतम् मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगीव यस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ Verse 275. देहवाग्बुद्धयस्त्यक्ताः ज्ञानिनानृतबुद्धितः कर्मी प्रवर्तयत्वाभिः ज्ञानिनो हीयतेऽत्र किम्. So Vidyaranya continues with the topic of the stage 7, which is Trupti Prapti, which is a result of a aparoksha jnanam. Atma, which is aparoksha, whichever is which cannot be missed, that's called aparoksha. Pratyaksha, paroksha you will miss. Pratyaksha you will miss if you don't operate senses. Paroksha also is missed if it doesn't come to your mind. What you never misses is this aparoksha. Therefore, this aparoksha is not known somehow. So the jnanam of aparoksha vastu is aparoksha jnana. And so one is really seeking this aparoksha vastu, which you don't miss till you have missed. The 10th man has missed himself. He cannot miss. One who is a searcher, searching itself is. Anyway, so this is Jivan Mukti. You can say even Trupti also. Trupti or Jivan Mukti is one thing. It's a result of aparoksha jnana of Atma. And that is the topic, last topic. The name of the chapter also is based on that. And the topic is from 251 to 297. We are on right now 275. And in these verses, Vidyaranya points out that after gaining this jnanam, jnani does not require any sadhanam. Very important topic. This is not discussed everywhere. So jnani does not require any sadhanam for moksha. So he can lead any type of life, which is based on prarabdha vasana. Something leads his life, and that is prarabdha vasana, not based on a particular sadhanam, etc. We can say even svabhavaha. You can say even prakriti. Same thing. Sadrisham cheshtate sasyaha prakrutehe jnanavan api. Jnanavan. One who has a jnanam, this jnani, sadrisham cheshtate. Sadrisham. In keeping with his prakriti. That prakriti is prarabdha vasana. You can call even svabhava. Well, and so for him a life of a pravritti is also not relevant, life of a nivritti also is not relevant. Moksha does not depend upon pravritti or nivritti. Pravritti nivritti is important for ajnani. Pravritti nivritti is important for ahankara. For jnani, ahankara is already mithya, and therefore pravritti nivritti itself is mithya. So he may be pravritta also, he may be nivritta also. Atma has nothing to do with pravritti nivritti. you and me also have nothing to do with pravritti or nivritti. Since we have a misunderstanding of ourselves and we consider ourselves as a jiva ahankara, then pravritti is important. He will explain that. Nivritti is also important. Sannyasa is important. Grihasthashrama is important. Brahman has no grihasthashrama, atyashrami. Atyashrami go with. So, this is atyashrami. Moksha has nothing to do with pravritti nivritti. Anyway, so irrespective of physical condition, etc., this jnani may just go by prarabdha without using will of his own. That is what it has been told very beautifully. Pashyan, Shunvan, Spushan, Jigran, Ashnan, Gachan indicates all physical conditions. And still naiva kinchit karomiti. So irrespective of the condition, physical conditions, mental conditions, moksha or atma basically has nothing to do with that. So one jnani may go by prarabdha vasana, without using will of his own and do whatever comes according to prarabdha. Other jnani may deliberately choose a type of karma, and that will be useful for the society, lokasangra, etc. So that he may deliberately choose this kind of way. I mean, depending upon his free will, for blessing of society, he may choose to lead a life and as prescribed in a shastra, fully following all rules and regulations, etc. And one is not following any rules and regulation also. All. Freedom means freedom. No restriction at all. No restriction. So if he is a jnani grihastha, he may continue to do, prescribed karma. If he is a jnani sannyasi, he also may be following certain sannyasa ashrama rules. Vidyaranya says if jnani is involved in karma, you cannot call him karmi. This is the discussion actually. Shastriya, he may be doing a shastriya karma, therefore he is a karta, he is a karmi. No. If he is doing a laukika karma in the world, worldly actions, still he is not a karmi. And therefore there is no jnana karma samuchaya at all. Whether jnani or a karmi is purely decided by his mindset. That's it. Not his physical conditions. Not external conditions. So in case of a karmi, he doesn't know, who am I? So for a karmi, I is this ahankara, and therefore ahankara is problem, ahankara is prarabdha, ahankara is success, ahankara is failure. His whole assessment is based on his own assessment. His assessment for himself is purely based on ahankara. Whereas in case of a jnani, he is totally aware of the fact that that aham, definitely includes both the components, two components, mithya ahankara and satya sakshi. And these two components makes I. Pure sakshi can't say I. There is no called pure ahankara. There is no pure ahankara. Pure sakshi also does not have a I. Pure ahankara can say I, no, but pure ahankara does not exist. And therefore I is basically a mixture. That's it. And jnani will use the word I. And both the components will be there. But only thing is, he is aware of this mixture. He is aware of the mixture, clearly aware of the nature of each component of the mixture, that one is satyam and is ever free, and other is mithya and never free. That's it. This much is the knowledge. One is satyam, ever free, other is mithya, never free. That's it. This is called jnana. This is the only difference between karmi and jnani, or ajnani and jnani, same thing. This is the difference. And so he is comfortably using the word I, depending upon context. He will use. In Vyavara, when people talk to him and then he says, well, he says I from Ahankara angle. Other people say, oh, we met Swamiji, you in United States. Yeah, I was there in July and which I? I was there. That I, Sakshi, this Brahman cannot be here and there. So he uses, comfortably uses. People don't understand all these things. Really speaking, they don't understand. So, well, he says I from Ahankara angle, independent on context, and with knowledge, well, he knows, with a knowledge, clear knowledge, that I am talking to these people and I am using the word I, that's not real I. And the real I is never there or never here and doesn't talk. Pashan, Shrunvan, Sprushan, Jigran, etc. Talkan, whatever. So nothing. This is freedom. People don't understand. Moksha means what? This is moksha. This is moksha. This is called Jivan Mukti. Where everything at different levels goes on, nothing affects it. Nothing affects it. This is called Asangatvam, this is called Mukti. There is no other moksha. If you are aware of yourself at this moment, and in fact you are like that, you and me are like that. When you are seeing me, you are really not seeing. Right now. When you are saying, I'm Swamiji taking your class and I'm listening to you, you are not listening. Understand this. You are really not listening. You are not listener. I mean, what I want to convey is this. In your present, listening takes place. That's a jnana. In your presence, listening takes place. Oh, I am that. Yes. If you are aware of that, you are an enlightened person. If you are not aware, and you have misplaced the I in Ahankara, then taking yourself as a listener, etc. That's a wrong assessment of yourself. So anyway, so this Jnani is not confused. Vyavara context, okay. Anyway, I is always a mixture. But then in Vyavara, that is Mithya. Mithya I only has to be utilized. And that's fine. So, the example is, well, we use word for ourselves and as well as for photo, knowing both are different. Like they give an example of a Puja Swamiji. Swamiji, see, this is Puja Swamiji. Like that you show me a photo. This is Puja Swamiji. Well, when you say that, the listener does not get confused. Oh, this is a paper. How can you say this is Puja Swamiji? Puja Swamiji has already taken Samadhi. How can you say this is Puja Swamiji? But listener never gets confused. They do Namaskar also. When I show the photo, they do Namaskar also. They know this is photo. Well, and they take it as they take it as a photo. They know this is a photo. At the same time, they use a word. I use a word, Swami, Dayanandji or Puja Swamiji. And then I say, well, suppose if you are not aware of, and you ask, oh, right now, where is Swamiji? In Rishikesh and Coimbatore? No, Swamiji has already, Puja Swamiji has already taken Samadhi. Now here again I am using word Puja Swamiji. When I was showing you the photo, I was saying Puja Swamiji. One word, no confusion. Puja Swamiji, Puja Swamiji. Eh? Puja Swamiji, taken Samadhi. Puja Swamiji is here. Hey, what is this? I am using one word, you the listener has no confusion. That's it. I use the word I. Only one word. No confusion for a jnani. Vyavara, Ahankara, Mithya. If it is pertaining to my own nature, well, I am aware that I am Satyavastu, I am Brahman, etc. So, the way I use the word Swamiji for picture and for a person, even though I don't differentiate, the listener understands the difference. This is comfortably happening. So, Jnani also uses the word I for Ahankara. He knows Ahankara is a mithya picture of himself. Like here, Anyway, so the real difference becomes evident when Jnani has to do self-assessment in context of a spiritual journey, etc. So this is what it means. And for Jnani, even though at Ahankara levels many projects, etc. are incomplete, well, he will not say that I am incomplete. I am Mukta in spite of these incomplete projects, etc. So if he does this, if he does this soul searching very deeply, even he still can't say that any sadhanam, spiritual sadhanam, etc., is left over. So this viparita bhavana is there, and therefore I have to do nididhyasanam, and etc. That is the means for that, and that is pending, and I am not able to do nididhyasanam. Doesn't say. Viparita bhavana, etc., is from the standpoint of ahankara, not from the standpoint of atma. So nididhyasanam is meant for the ahankara. Yeah. To understand ahankara has to understand I am not ahankara, that I am Brahman, basically. So whatever be the mental state, actually, Jnani says I am free. He doesn't look upon moksha as something to be achieved. So that way, Jnanis and Karmis are entirely different. Karmis will have many means which he has employed. Many means are pending to be employed for a goal to achieve, etc. etc. Jnani doesn't have anything. So Vidyaranya says here, Deha Vak Buddhayas Tyaktaha. Jnani rejects Anatma at the time of self-assessment. Anatma means, please understand here, I will not say again and again, but it is, Jnani rejects Anatma means here Ahankara at the time of self-assessment in field of spiritual journey. Anatma becomes insignificant, and success, failure are also insignificant. Mithya Ahankara, Mithya success, failure, etc. Like means a health based, if it is a health based, if it is emotion based, if it is family based, all self-assessments, well, he never accepts. Because he knows they are all basically Namarupa, not worthy for self-assessment. So for Karmi, Ahankara is very, very important. He doesn't know the Sakshi. Whereas for Jnani, his standpoint is only Sakshi. Ahankara is not important. So it says Anruta Buddhitaha. Dehavak Buddhayaha Tyaktaha Anruta Buddhitaha. Because of Anruta Bhavana, because of his Mithyat Drishti, Jnanina Tyakta, Jnani looks at them insignificant. Anruta Buddhi, Anrutam Mithya, Mithya means insignificant. Pratiti, you can say. So, Jnani looks at them as a insignificant. So, when does Ahankara becomes liberated through asadhanam? Ahankara is never going to get liberated. That is, Ahankara is ever bound. What is Mithya is ever bound. All the way bound. That is the definition of Mithya, which is bound in space, in time, in qualities. That alone is Mithya. What is bound in time? What is bound in space? Deshataha, Kalataha, Vastutaha. That is Mithya. Therefore, this kind of a thing will not be there. That kind of question itself is not there. Okay, that's okay, Atma is free. But when does Anatma becomes free? What means should I employ? No means to be employed. Ahankara is never going to get free, to be free. At physical level, emotional level, intellectual level, one can never become free, perfect. So, let Ahankara do its duty in Vyavahara. This is clear for a Jnani. And this kind of from a mixture, person is born, starts using word I. It is a mixture, it's a fact, but one doesn't know. Ahankara alone is the important. There is a Sakshi, he doesn't know. And later he came to know due to Punyam, etc., get exposed to the teaching. And now he understood I as a mixture. And now, well, out of the mixture, he slowly understands one is Satyam and never free, other is Mithya and never free. and then slowly he assimilates what is Satyam. It's a gradual change, basically. So, self assessment is a gradual change. Like what? Like this gradually, this hair turning grey. Gradually. There is no mystic experience. One day he just got up in the morning and he said, I am Brahman. Anatma, this Ahankara is Mithya. That is never going to happen. If something has happened like that, one has to go to a psychiatrist, because this thing is a gradual. The self-assessment will gradually will be different. I mean, it changes, gradual change. So karmi tu abhihi pravartatam, whereas karmi assess himself as a karta, etc. And Gnani has definitely totally changed this, his self-assessment. So Gnaninaha atra kim hiyate. What does Gnani lose? Hiyate. What means what is lost? So what does Gnani lose by allowing himself to be karta? Even if he says, I am karta, he is not going to be karta. He knows very clearly. In Vyavara, he is very clearly, nicely, beautifully, tells that he is Ahankara. Oh, I did that, I met that person, I ate food. So all karma. And he happily calls himself as a karta, eater or seer or whatever, talker, walker. No problem at all. 276. Pravrittirnopayukta chet nivrutti kvopayujyate bodhahetur nivrittischet bhubutsayam tathetara. As I told you, this is this question. All this is a question. How Gnani can engage in so much action, so much activity. And it has a certain basis. I will talk to you. It has a basis. More karmas, more activity, less chances of nishtha. That is there. That I will explain you little later. So if person really wants a nishtha, a sannyasa is essential. Sannyasa means need not, but sannyasa is essential. Karma sannyasa is essential. That's how Yajnavalkya took. Oh, why Yajnavalkya required? He was teaching all this Brahma Vidya and all that. Why he should take? This is the thing. Because extrovertedness, let me explain you, then we will do this. Why there is a basis. Now here the Purvapaksha is going to come. He says, how come this Gnani remain engaged in action? I don't understand. And if you say, no, he has a Jnana and doing karma, then Jnana Karma Samuchaya, we are talking to you. Then moksha is possible to Jnana Karma Samuchaya. That's how he is doing karma also and he has Jnanam also. No, Jnanam gives moksha. Jnanena tu kaivalyam. If Jnanam gives moksha, then why he is doing karma? He should not do karma. If he is doing karma, we have a doubt about his Jnana. He is going to explain, Vidyaranya is going to tell karma has nothing to do with Jnana. He is going to explain that. Activity, etc. has nothing to do with it. But that is for Jnani. Please understand. Now what I am going to talk about is one who is going to become Jnani. Means in terms of Nishtha, Nididhyasanam is required, etc. For such a person, he should be little away from the activity. Why? Because so when you are extrovert and you are active and you are doing some karma, you are invoking all the karakas. First thing, you have to invoke in yourself as a karta. And then other karakas, other accessories are all essential. And for you still, since the Viparita Bhavana is there, you take yourself again as a karta. That's a reality for you. And that's how you do the karma. And other karakas also are equally real for you. Now, when karta and other karakas, everything, karanam, etc., everything is real, in that case, where the nishtha is going to occur. And therefore, the person who wants to have a nishtha, well, definitely, he has to have a life of sannyasa. Karma has done its role, basically. to give you jnana yogyata, and that's how Shravan Mananam also you did, and you got clarity also, but the Viparita Bhavana is there. So still that Mithyatva Nishchaya is not complete. And therefore, in such a situation, if you are active and you invoke yourself as a karta again and again, and all the karakas also are essential for to do that activity, then definitely from your mind this mithyatva, in your mind the mithyatva nishchaya is not happening. And therefore, if you take karta again and again yourself, where you are going to have a nishtha that I am akarta atma, kartutvam is mithya, etc. So viparita bhavana becomes stronger and stronger if you remain extrovert. So one has to be very careful. That is how there was a time when karma pradhana was there. Then there is a time now jnana pradhana. Karma becomes less. Shariram kevalam karma kurvannapnoti kilbisham. Shariram karma. That is okay because sharira has to be sustained. Otherwise, what nishtha for whom? If sharira is not there. So you need to do certain activity by which you sustain your life. Body sustain. That much is essential. More than that, one has to take care. I remain very active in the world and I will also gain a nishtha. Impossible. It's almost impossible. So that is why sannyasa is there. After grihasthashrama, karma, etc. is. So for a nishtha, sannyasa is there. Anyway, that sannyasa, formal sannyasa is not essential, but my point is, basically you have to have a life of a contemplation. That's for sure. Once of course you have a nishtha, you have a mithyatva nishchaya, etc. Very clearly ahankara is mithya, everything clear. Then pravritti nivritti has nothing to do with. Then you can remain engaged because already nishchaya has occurred. And therefore then there is not a problem. But this person, this Purvapakshi is not understanding. He feels that, well, the karma is, this person is doing active, he is very much active, he is fulfilled person. Then why activity is essential? That's another point. Why activity is essential? Activity is meant for the people who are unfulfilled. Karma alone is a sadhanam for that, for fulfillment. Now you say he is a fulfilled person, atmani atmana tushtaha, etc. He has a fulfillment and everything. Then why activity? Why he can't remain with himself? What is that thing in his heart which prompts him to do all this activity? So that is the Purvapaksha here. He must be withdrawn sannyasi, he says. Not involved in any vyavara, preferably sitting in samadhi, and and abnormal look, and extraordinary, maybe beard, etc. So, and jata also may be there. So that we think as a jnani. Whenever anybody draws a picture of a jnani, they always do this. Jnani means with a beard, with a jata, and preferably this type of a clothes, or even not even this cloth, then just a loin cloth, etc. etc. That is jnani. And suppose a person is there, active very much in the world, and in wearing a normal dress, etc., shirt, pant, etc., and he is a grihastha, we will say he is not a jnani. Who is saying? I am not saying. Purvapakshi is saying. Maybe a scholarly person, but not a realized soul. That we will not accept. This is a confusion, and this confusion is borrowed from Arjuna's confusion. Arjuna's confusion also was like that. That is how sannyasa and karma, all the way, every chapter, nearly all chapters begin with this question. He feels this sannyas, jnanam and jnana nishtha means sannyasa, and karma means basically he doesn't have jnana. Now, and as I told you, that is correct. But for the person who is a jnani, for him doesn't make any difference, a pravritti or a nivritti, etc., etc. That is our discussion. Anyway, so conclusion is jnani can be either in a pravritti or in a nivritti. Our answer is going to be like that. Both sadhanam are irrelevant for him. and he need not follow any of this. There is no pravritti vidhi or a nivritti vidhi for a jnani. Yeah, suppose he has taken a sannyasa for a nishtha, there is a sannyasa vidhi he follows, but that is for gaining nishtha. Once he is a nishtha, he doesn't need anything. He may continue to do pravritti based upon his prarabdha vasana, or he may totally remain in a withdrawn state, whatever. So anyway, so all any sannyasa instruments, any sannyasa enjoining vakyas, they are basically not for jnani. In order to gain nishtha, they are the sentences. Like putraishanayascha, vittaishanayascha, lokaishanayascha, vitthaya, atha bhikshacharyam charanti. So putra, vitta, etc. all he has to give up. Sanyasya shravanam kuryat, na karmana na prajaya dhanena, tyage naike amritattva manashuhu. All these vakyas are not meant for jnani. Nivritti vakya, nivritti vidhi, not for jnani. They are all meant for mumukshus, jignasus. Even vidvat sannyasa, etc. is also for a person who wants to practice this sadhanam for nididhyasanam. One who has a nishtha, well, such a withdrawal is not required. Engagement also, activity also is not required. Withdrawal also is not required. He can remain either. That is mukti. Anyway, so to arrive at basically this, that for jnani there is no pravritti or essential or nivritti essential. He can be pravritta, he can be nivritta, no vidhi for him. For to arrive at this conclusion, there is a series of question answers begin now. And this first is here. Purvapakshi says, pravrittihi na upayukta. For a jnani, pravritti, activity, na upayukta, is not required. Why should he be engaged in a daily activity? All this the other people are doing. Why should he also do? And perhaps he may be doing more than other people are doing. Why? Actually, we saw in verse 268 to 270, Vidyaranya said this, a jnani may remain in a religious activity or in a secular activity also. But so based on that only Purvapakshi is asking a question. That why jnani should remain engaged in activity. So, pravrittihi na upayukta iti chet. So, iti chet indicates that before that is a Purvapaksha. So, pravrittihi na upayukta iti chet means pravrittihi na upayukta is asked by the Purvapaksha. It is said by the Purvapaksha. Doubt is raised that jnani should not be engaged in activity. Vidyaranya asks a counter question. What? Nivrittihi kva upayujyate? Why should jnani withdraw from activity? You tell us. You say, why should jnani be engaged, remain engaged in activity? Our question is, why should he withdraw from activity? Why should he run away from society? So if you ask what is the benefit of a pravritti sadhanam, I will ask what is the benefit of a nivritti sadhanam. Vidyaranya says, Kwa upayujyate. Kwa means where, for what benefit is it required? So then he answers, who? Purvapakshi, in the second line. Bodha hetuhu nivrittihi. Well, for jnani, nivritti is important. Withdrawal is important. If he remains engaged, when will he do meditation? When will he study? When will he open the book? So all jnana sadhanams are required, and those jnana sadhanams can be employed when he is a nivritta. And so he has to withdraw from activity. Vidyaranya says, if nivritti is so useful for a person as a jnana sadhanam, pravritti is also useful. Pravritti is useful for what? Jnani yogyata sadhanam. So he says, tatha. See, Purvapakshi said, no, nivritti is very essential for jnanam. And therefore, because he has to do meditation, etc., and he has to study and think over and everything. And so if he remains engaged, How will he do all this? Therefore, nivrittihi bodha hetu. Bodha, jnanam. It's a hetu for, it's a cause for jnanam. Nivritti. Then we are asking, well, then pravritti is for what? Pravritti is for jnana yogyata sadhana. So that is what it said. Tatha. Similarly, itara. So nivrittihi bodha hetu. Itara means other than that. Means pravrittihi. Bubhutsayam. Bubhutsayam is jignasayam. Means desire for knowledge. Well, stands for, so means mumukshutvam. Means stands for sadhan chatushtaya sampatti. Jnana yogyata. So that has been told now. So when he said nivritti is very essential for jnanam, well, we say then pravritti is also essential for jnana yogyata sadhanam. That is what we said. Then Purvapakshi says something, and thereby he is caught. What did he say? Let's just see in verse 277. Buddhaschenna bubhutseta napyasau buddhyate punaha abadhadanuvarteta bodho natvanya sadhana. Purvapakshi says, what are you saying? Huh? What are you saying? Jnana yogyata sadhanam is a pravritti. Jnani does not require jnana yogyata. Otherwise, how can he become a jnani? He does not require pravritti. Vidyaranya says jnani does not require jnana yogyata, then he does not require jnanam. If he still requires a jnanam, jnani requires still jnanam. How is jnani? Ajnani requires jnanam or jnani requires jnanam? Then you said nivritti is for jnana hetu, for gaining jnanam. Does jnani require jnanam? Then on what is the basis to give him a title jnani? And therefore, he does not require a jnana sadhanam also. So if he does not require a jnana yogyata, and therefore no pravritti is not essential, well, he does not require jnana sadhanam also as for or nivritti. So why do you insist on nivritti for jnana, for jnani? Why do you insist? So jnani may do well, anyone, pravritti or nivritti, according to his prarabdha. That's what it is. So Purvapakshi says, Buddha means a jnani, na bubhutseta. He does not engage in pravritti for jnana yogyata. Bubhutsa, I have told you, bodhumichha. Bodhumichha means desire to know. That indicates jignasa. Bubhutsa or jignasa is the same thing. And desire to know, well, definitely indicates jnana yogyata, sadhana chatushtaya. And therefore, it ultimately amounts to this. So Buddha means jnani, na bubhutseta. He does not engage in pravritti for jnana yogyata. Chet, if you are saying like that, O Purvapakshi, Vidyaranya says, asau punaha na buddhyate. Asau means this jnani. Well, punaha na buddhyate. He does not seek knowledge again. Means he does not seek knowledge also. Jnani does not seek knowledge also. Through what? Through nivritti. You said nivritti is for jnana hetu, but he does not seek knowledge at all. And therefore nivritti is also not essential. Why you are insisting on nivritti for jnani? Why are you insisting? So you can't insist for nivritti also. Well, this is Purvapakshi. For that, Purvapakshi comes with a other objection, which is given in a second line. You see that. Abadhat anuvarteta bodho natu anya sadhana. Purvapakshi says jnani does not require pravritti or nivritti. That is okay. Jnani requires nivritti for protecting jnanam. Now he has brought another thing. Jnani requires basically nivritti for protecting jnanam. Jnanam basically, when if he remains engaged, his jnanam from the mind flows out through the karmendriyas and jnanendriyas outside. So, therefore, yatha deepo nivatastha nengate sopama smruta, etc. So, he should not allow any kind of a, if he remains engaged in the world, well, all anatma vritti will come inside. All thoughts pertaining to the world. And therefore, he should not allow this anatma vritti in his mind. If he allows too much anatma vritti, atma vritti will go away. His jnanam will go away. Therefore, we are telling you Nivritti is very essential. Who is telling? Purupakshi. Nivritti is very essential. Okay, he has a jnanam, we understand now. But his jnanam has to be protected. Therefore, he should remain away from all this activity. And if such a Purupakshi is there, we say jnanam can never be negated by karma, by pravritti. If you remain engaged, this is simple, just simple thing. If you remain through very busy, 18 hours, suppose you are busy, in the night you are exhausted, and I tell you, I will not ask you any questions further, but just give one answer. What? What is 5 plus 4? Oh, I was so busy I forgot now what is 5 plus 4. Jnanam can never be negated by any karma, any amount of karma. Jnanam, in bracket Brahma. Brahma cannot be called Jnanam, but Brahma Jnanam. Mithya Jnanam can be negated by proper Jnana, Samyak Jnana. That can be negated. But Jnanam can never be negated by karma. Snake knowledge, which is Mithya Jnanam, will go away by Samyak Jnanam, Rajju Jnanam. That is possible. But Jnanam, that cannot be negated by this karma. So Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam also cannot be negated by karma. All other Pramana, in fact. But Saji, okay. Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam cannot be negated by the activity he does. Okay. But Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam which is generated by one means of knowledge, will be negated by other means of knowledge. Because other means of knowledge, the Jnanendriya brings so much of Jnanam when he is active from the world. That is Jnanam. That is not Brahma. No, that is not Brahma. It is Samyak Jnanam. If you are seeing me right now through your eyes, is it Brahma or is it a Prama? No, it is Prama. Well, and that is pertaining to the world? Yeah. So the Jnanam generated by other means of knowledge, which is Samyak Jnanam, will negate other Samyak Jnanam. What? Brahma Jnanam, Aham Brahmasmi. That will be negated. If you remain active in the world, you gather lot of information through your senses, all valid. You cannot call it as a snake knowledge. It's all Prama. Anatma Jnanam will negate Atma Jnanam. In fact, you said Anatma Jnanam. I am not saying. You are saying Anatma Jnanam. If it is Anatma Jnanam, means the knowledge generated by the means of knowledge available to you is pertaining to Anatma. Where is the question of negating Atma Jnanam? Anatma Jnanam cannot negate Atma Jnanam. Right? Because suppose your means of knowledge available to you give you a knowledge of self which is different from the knowledge of the self generated by the Shastra, then definitely one will remain, or other will go away. But your means of knowledge available to you give you the data pertaining to the Anatma. Atma can never become an object of knowledge through the senses or the mind. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. In that case, where is the question of that jnanam which is pertaining to Anatma? Anatma is a subject matter. How does it touch Atma Jnana? No, it cannot touch. So, so basically the jnanam generated through one means of knowledge we have discussed several times. See, the definition of a pramana, I did not want to go there, but I feel that perhaps it may create a confusion, so let me go once again. Definition of a pramana is that the means, anything which you consider, which you want to give as a status, as a means of knowledge, then it has to give you knowledge which cannot be negated, contradicted by other means of knowledge. That alone is the knowledge generated by such means of knowledge, one means of knowledge, cannot be negated by other means of knowledge. And in that case, we used to give an example. Knowledge generated by the eyes, well, cannot be negated, contradicted, challenged by the knowledge generated through the ears. And therefore, even if the means of knowledge available to you will give you knowledge pertaining to Anatma, etc., it has no access to Atma, to negate Atma, Atma Jnanam, etc. And therefore, that is not correct. So, basically, since valid knowledge cannot be negated by Laukika, Vaidika karmas or any other pramana also, which I have discussed, so therefore it says here abadham, abadaha, abadhat. Abadaha means not negated, not abadhat it is there. So if it is abadhat, you make it abadha. Bada means negation, abadha means not negated. So jnanam cannot be negated by Laukika Vaidika karmas. Jnanam cannot be, jnanam generated by one means of knowledge cannot be negated by the knowledge generated through other means of knowledge. Everyone has its own sphere, and therefore basically abadha. This Brahma Jnanam, Atma Jnanam, the Jnani has that Aham Brahmasmi, that Jnanam is not negated. Anuvarteta. Anuvarteta means it will be protected. It will remain. So, and this very beautiful discussion pertaining to all this is there in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad Bhashyam on 1.4.10. Anyway, so abadhat bodha means I will supply abadhat bodha anuvarteta. Bodha you can bring it near. Abadhat bodha anuvarteta. Abadhat, since the bodha, the knowledge, cannot be negated by knowledge generated through other means of knowledge, and anuvarteta, it will be protected. Natu anya sadhanat, one does not require any other sadhanam to protect jnanam. Jnanam will be protected because it cannot be negated. If it is not negated, means it will remain. In Saddarshanam, Ramana Maharshi, asked this question: does any human being require to protect the knowledge that I am a human being? Whatever you do, it may happen so that you are so exhausted that you are about to become unconscious. Suppose, so exhausted, that much activity. Too much, you have as though lost yourself. And perhaps you might have lost totally yourself. But this thing will not go. I am a human being. Will never go. Jnanam has nothing to do with activity. You are saying you should, for Jnanam you should have a sannyasa, and now you are saying, I am talking about Jnani, who has Jnanam. Yeah. Once you have a Jnanam, Jnanam means clarity. I mean, Jnanam means clarity. Totally mithyatva nishchayad, or I am Satyam, etc. I am ever free, and I am Satyam, etc. Ahankara is mithya, never free, etc. So that Jnanam, if you have clarity, your self-assessment is over. That's it. Pravritti or nivritti does not make any difference. You remain engaged, or you don't do anything. So this is what it is. Anya sadhana means here, to protect his jnanam, anya sadhana. Natu anya sadhanat means this mahavakya japam he has to do, meditation he has to do, this he has to do, etc. And therefore he has to be nivritta. He should not be engaged in activity. He should remain in a secluded place, have a sannyasa, etc. Well, it is not required. It doesn't mean that he cannot meditate or he doesn't meditate. He may meditate. He may not meditate. He may do activity. He may not do activity. Nothing. This is freedom. Independence means independence. If Shastra cannot tell anything to such a person, what to talk about this society? Oh, he has to do this. You may speak anything. You and your speech, both are mithya for him. Really. He just doesn't care. Doesn't care means he's not a, I don't want to say that he is licentious, etc. That's a freedom. Please understand, you should feel that the freedom. What a freedom it is. Just based on his own assessment that I am really like this. Ko vidhi ko nisheda hai. He has to do. If something he feels that he has to do, definitely is not gnani. He has to do. I feel I have to do. If you say, then you are really a karta, still at ahankara level. Nothing is, this is total freedom. Then based on prarabdha vasana, etc., or loka sangraha sankalpa, whatever, then he may do. He may not do, he may do. And we have seen all jnanis not doing anything for society, staying in one place also. And there are people who are doing all the time. And so many projects they start, and many incomplete also. All kinds of things are there. Their assessment is never based on incompletion or completion of project, success or failure. He never says, I am successful. Even if he says, that is the context. People around. Oh, yeah, I was successful in that project. I could not. It's all mithya. This is nishtha. Then pravritti nivritti does not bother you. Otherwise, viparita bhavana, etc. is there, then still you are at ahankara level, and therefore definitely you need to be free from many activities in order to gain nishtha, etc. That's a different thing. Okay, verse 278. Na vidya na api tat karyam bodham badhitumarhati puraiva tattva bodhena badhite te ubheyatah. Purvapaksha is not ready to give up the mic. So he raises another question. He says, Nivrutti, we feel whatever you say with a lot of shouting of Vedantin, but we are not at all perturbed or disturbed by your shouting. Nivrutti is very much required, even after Jnana. Why? We have to explain you so much still. You see, avidya vasana may continue. Avidya lesha. Avidya vasana may continue. What continues for Jivan Mukta? Is what? Please tell me. Is it not avidya? The body? The mind? All this, the ahankara? All is not avidya karyam? It continues or not? Yeah, it continues. So if avidya karyam continues, avidya vasanas also will be there. All old vasana, you say prarabdha vasana. Prarabdha vasana is for Brahman or for ahankara or for whom? No, that's for ahankara. Very ahankara, the vasanas pertaining to ahankara is all born of what ultimately? Avidya. So avidya vasana is still there. To fight avidya vasana, karma is essential or nivritti is essential? Please tell me. Karma itself is a born of avidya, and you have avidya vasana, avidya lesha is there. If you still do more and more karma itself is a product of avidya, how that karma is going to fight this avidya vasana? Because karma itself is a basically product of avidya. In fact, karma, if you do more karma, avidya is strengthened. And therefore, avidya, to fight avidya vasana, he has to go away. Nivritti is very much required. Vidyaranya says nothing doing. See? So, now I will tell you, same question was asked by Sureshwaracharya ji in Naishkarmya Siddhi. Wonderful topic. Purapakshi said this there also, that Samadhi Abhyasa is required throughout the life. So, I mean, Samadhi Abhyasa means Nidhyasanam all the time he has to carry out in order to fight this avidya vasana. Vidyaranya also has raised here. Sureshwaracharya has raised in Naiskrimya Siddhi. And both are giving different answers. Topic is avidya vasana. But Vidyaranya and Sureshwaracharya ji gives different answer. First I will tell you what Sureshwaracharya ji tells. He says, avidya vasana rise now and then and threaten, as you said. So for that, even though avidya vasana rises and looks that it is threatening this jnani, still you need not do any separate sadhanam further. If avidya vasana rises, then vidya vasana also rises because he has already a jnana. So vidya vasana also rises now and then. If avidya vasana rises again and again, vidya vasana also rises again and again. And therefore you need not do a separate thing. Vidya vasana automatically, which is just an antidote for that, vidya vasana automatically comes and negates avidya vasana. But our question is, avidya vasana, suppose, is stronger than vidya vasana. Then what? Avidya vasana will prevail. Vidya vasana will be destroyed. Sureshwaracharya ji says, between two, vidya vasana is stronger. Vidya vasana is stronger? Avidya vasana is not stronger? See, vidya vasana, vidya means jnana. Jnanam pertaining to a mithya thing or a satyavastu? No, that is satyavastu. Jnanam, well, vidya vasana ultimately depends on this satyavastu. Vidya basically of pertaining to satyavastu. Therefore, vidya vasana is dependent on a satyavastu for its existence. Whereas avidya vasana is basically mithya. Between satyam and mithya, satyam is stronger, vidya vasana is stronger, and that will negate. That is how this snake buddhi will go away or rajju buddhi will go away. Please tell me. Please tell me. What negates what? What negates what? Snake buddhi negates rajju buddhi or rajju buddhi negates... Understand? Swamiji, but snake buddhi negates rajju buddhi. Rajju buddhi, I am asking you. I am asking you rajju buddhi, not rajju. Snake buddhi has even not negated rajju. Snake buddhi cannot negate rajju buddhi. Once a rajju buddhi, that this is rope that comes, snake buddhi has already been dismissed and it cannot come. What is the jnanam? Buddhi means jnanam. Pertaining to the satyavastu is always stronger. It will negate the brahma or mithyavastu or jnanam pertaining to mithyavastu. That way. So that vasana pertaining to avidya, etc. Whatever may be the vasana will be easily negated by this vidya vasana. Anyway, this is Sureshwaracharya's answer for this question. Avidya vasana is still there and that will definitely fight against this jnanam, and therefore he should do constantly meditation, etc. Nidhyasanam, samadhi abhyasa, etc. so that avidya vasana cannot rise. Need not. Vidya vasana will also rise now and then, like avidya vasana rises now and then. So vidya vasana also rises now and then because he is already as a nishtha, and therefore it will fight against that. And therefore he need not sit in meditation. He doesn't require nivritti also. That is answer given by Sureshwaracharya in Naiskrimya Siddhi. Here Vidyaranya says avidya vasana can't threaten at all. It is too feeble. So either way, to protect jnanam, well, you don't require any sadhanam, etc. We will see that next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.